Hey everyone, my name is Harrison Whitecloud and welcome to Whitecloud Audio. Today I'm going to be taking you through my speaker shootout for heavy metal guitars. If you want to skip all my talking and get just to the shootout, I will leave a timestamp in the description. There will also be timestamps for each individual speaker in the description as well. Let me explain the rig here. I used a Gibson Les Paul with a DiMarzio Super Distortion in the bridge. That went into an Earthquaker Plumes pedal, where I'm boosting just the volume. I'm not boosting any gain, leaving that tone knob up the center. Then that goes into an MXR Smart Gate. Out of there goes into my PV6505, and then out of there it feeds all my speaker cabinets. And the single microphone that I used was a Shure SM58. And this video is sort of an extension off of my microphone shootout that I did, so go and take a look at my profile, watch that video. Out of all of the microphones, there were a handful that I really liked, but I did really like the Shure SM58 because it's just like a more balanced 57 in my opinion. Little less harsh in the 2 to 4K range, so I wound up using that microphone for all these speakers. And so let me talk about these speaker cabinets. They're all 4x12s. And the first speaker cabinet is a Mesa Boogie 4x12 with Celestion Vintage 30s. From 2001. And from what I understand, based off of my research and what I see floating around here on YouTube, 2000 to 2003 is like the sweet spot to buy vintage 30s. So was fortunate enough to get my hands on one of those. And the next cabinet is a Randall 4x12 with two 2022 Celestion Vintage 30s and two Eminence DV77s wired in an X pattern. And my Marshall cabinet is a 4x12 with two 2022 Vintage 30s and two Celestion T75s. All of these speakers are 8 ohm speakers. And so let me talk about the organization of the shootout. To backtrack, in my microphone shootout, I was using Jim Lill's method in his video, Where Does the Tone Come From in a Microphone? And what he did, he took all of these microphones and he referenced them to a Shure SM57. That became the flat frequency response. And we all know a 57 isn't flat. You know, the EQ curve is just all over the place. But the reason why that's flat is the Shure SM57 is the microphone that most engineers are going to reach for as a starting point, right? You can find it in every venue, every studio. It's been the best-selling mic for however many decades, so it just makes sense to have that be ground zero to reference things, right? So, since this is not a microphone shootout, we are listening to guitar speakers. What I did was I recorded each of these speakers with the same mic, and I found the one that sounded the best to me, at least. The most balanced, the one that was just ready to go. And that was in my Mesa Boogie 2001 with Vintage 30s. It was the top right speaker. That one just sounded balanced to me. There were no whistly sort of peak frequencies that needed to be notched out or anything like that. It sounded right. It sounded balanced to me. So that's going to be what all these other speakers are going to be referenced to. And that makes sense because a Vintage 30 for metal is the same thing as a Shure SM57, right? A lot of people are like, let's just use a V30. It works, you know? So without further ado, I'm just going to go through here. There will be timestamps and there will be pictures telling you which speaker it is. Here we go. Cool. Yeah. By the way, all of those speakers were mic dead center. I didn't do the where the cone meets the dust cap. I just kind of I prefer to record speakers dead center. And yeah, some main notes, I guess, is just beware of the bottom speakers. Might be the acoustics in my room or something, but I noticed specifically with each cabinet, the bottom speakers tend to have like some sort of standing wave generated within the cabinet, or just maybe those particular speakers around like 600, 700. It was like something that needed to be notched out for sure. But overall, I mean, that 2001 cabinet is really good. The DV77 versus the T75 and versus the newer vintage 30s and stuff. It certainly important things to take note of as far as where those peaks are at and those frequency buildups from the cabs themselves. I would just say mic up all of your speakers and see which ones are the best. And let me know which one was your favorite. For me, it definitely was that top right speaker for the Mesa. And I definitely appreciated the top right T75 and the Marshall as well. The top right DV77 wasn't too bad either. But yeah, let me know what you think. And thanks so much for watching. I'll check you later.